Intuition is a dangerous thing. Humankind has long sought answers, the truth about the stars, ourselves, and all of our reality. Reality defies understanding. Humankind takes shortcuts, leaps in logic, guesswork, acceptance of truths unproven. Reality defies understanding. We use our greatest asset, our intuition, to see the forest without the trees. Reality defines understanding. Yet we try anyways. Intuition is a dangerous thing. Last time, y'all split the party. You entered this town of Montpelier because there was a mysterious death. Somebody died of heavy metal poisoning, which was very strange because, well, there are some old abandoned mines around here that might match that kind of poisoning. It seemed to be an extreme level of toxicity in his system that would take years to build up, and there's no way he wouldn't have noticed and had symptoms far beforehand. No, it appears that a massive amount of heavy metals were introduced to his system very rapidly. This killed him in a couple days. You arrived on the scene trying to figure out if this was an unnatural threat. It doesn't sound like a natural way to die, and if so, conceal it, defeat it, push it back, whatever you can do. Unfortunately for you, it appears to be some kind of contagious disease, an epidemic you are now trying to squash as soon as possible. You've got potentially a body to burn, potentially multiple bodies to burn soon. Several of you are potentially infected. The Dr. Collins you brought with you is almost certainly infected at this point. And you're just trying to track down anyone who's had contact with these people to try and figure out how to stop this. Hunter maybe has contracted this disease as he was staying with Dr. Collins and sort of wrestled Dr. Collins into the bathroom to make sure he stopped eating coins. And so Hunter and Dr. Collins had a bit of a conversation about how they might be able to solve this. And the unfortunate solution may be to spend about a week eating almost nothing but baking soda and hoping that kills the virus before the baking soda kills you. So that'll be fun. Hallow is running around the sheriff's department trying to mobilize the local police force to shut this down, to get in contact with those people who may be exposed, like the deputy's wife, Deputy Jacob's wife, and the coroner's assistant, and all sorts of things like that. Hematite left for a green box to find a hazmat suit, which she did find. In addition to a strange tape tucked into the same box labeled the Star People. High Tide is currently dealing with the poor coroner. The coroner actually vomited all over High Tide after spewing a bunch of nonsense about how he was going to be amongst the stars, how his people were calling to him, how it's random words about bookshelves and random things. It didn't make any sense. It was nonsense. He was talking nonsense. Clearly, something was very wrong with this man. He was extremely sick. High Tide took vomit to the chest, and although he immediately threw his shirt away and pulled this man inside, we don't know what the state of High Tide's health is at the moment. That's where we left off. So, let's jump right back in with High Tide. High Tide, can you give me a luck roll, please?
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. You bring this man inside. He hardly resists you, although it's hard for you to tell if it's an issue of him hardly resisting you because he has no strength in his body with which to resist you, or if he is complying. It just seems like he is mostly a ragdoll in your hands as you shove him back into his house, close the door behind you. What are you doing?
I'm going to attempt to find something to tie him up, potentially to a pole or like one of the balusters on his stairs. don't know if that's something he would have in his house.
Understood. An additional wrinkle I should bring up that I didn't bring up in the summary. You did hit him with a fence tie, whatever you call that, last time on the side of the head while attempting to stop him from moving. Is he is currently bleeding from his temple at the moment. It's not a heavy rush of blood, but there's definitely blood down the side of his head in there. Whatever your actions are.
Yeah, I mean, my first action is to tie him up and then probably try to wrap something around his head.
Okay, so give me a search roll just to see how quickly you can find something.
And while I am searching, can I attempt to be looking around his house to see if there are like metal handles for cupboards and stuff that have gone missing?
Sure, yeah, this can all
Or,
be wrapped
or would
pretty
that
well.
be a second? Okay.
I think this can be one search roll.
Oh,
So the consequence of this search roll failure isn't that you don't find anything, it's just that it takes a while. You're running around, you're pulling open drawers, but like you were looking for, actually, the drawers are missing their metal handles and things. So you have to kind of like pry at the sides to get the drawers open, things like that. And it's an old house, and some of the drawers and cupboards are kind of sticky. It's hard for you to like, they stick because like the wood has swollen in the wrong ways and things have tilted and they all get stuck together. So you're having to pry these things open, and it just takes you a while to find anything that would make sense to tie this guy up. You do eventually find we'll say you find he's got some zip ties just on hand somewhere, and zip tie his hands behind his back or something real quick. But it did take you rather a while to find that, and you do notice that yes, a lot of metal things are missing around here. In the time that you were searching, he is just laid on the ground, and there's a small puddle of blood around his head where he's just kind of collapsed. He's still breathing, but he's otherwise not moving or apparently aware.
okay. Well, once his hands are tied to the post, I'm going to get a towel or something from the kitchen and tie it around his head to hopefully stop the bleeding.
Okay. It starts to soak red. You find a white, like, hand rag, and you can immediately see the blossom of red from the point. Giving labored breaths on the floor.
So if I try to talk to him, he's non-responsive.
Could try to talk to him.
Hey, doctor. So, is everything okay? You still here? I know I hit you kind of hard.
He takes several more deep breaths, and then, in more of a whisper than like his voice just rasps out, I need to find it. They will they will come for me, but only if I can find it. I I belong up there.
What do you need to find?
I need to find it. I need to go. He starts to pull against the restraints, but he has no strength in him at all, so he just kind of limply pulls against the restraints and then continues to struggle, but it's really not even like apparently damaging his skin or anything like that. He's just very loosely pulling.
Is there something in particular you need to find, or have they not told you?
It's trees, dirt, leaves outside the city.
Is there anything in particular that you would be looking for out there in the leaves?
He closes his eyes and his head kind of shakes back and forth as if he's responding to the like images only he's seeing in his eyelids. Almost part of his body is like reflexively just kind of twitching around as he's experiencing something. He says, "This down, deeper, no, deeper, Down. Hidden place. Must find it.
Hmm. How long have they given you to look for it?
As soon as possible. I must go now. He continues to pull against the restraints.
I don't think that's a good idea. We're gonna stay here and we're gonna talk a little while longer. So they didn't give you a time frame on it? They just said as soon as possible?
Well, the sooner the better. The sooner I can escape this place and go up there. Oh, I cannot wait any longer. I must go. I must. Please let me go. Take me there. I can lead us there. No. No, it has been taken. No. No, it's been taken. It can't be taken. No. No, this. Please, we must go now.
I still don't know what you're saying is been taken.
I can
You
lead us.
haven't
I
told
can lead
me.
us.
Is it something dangerous for these people?
Dangerous. No. No. It's a key. An invitation. A ladder. An escape. An incantation, a secret passphrase. I don't know. All of these things and more and less.
Would I, as a player, have been indicated that the um, green box was buried in the woods? Was that something we were all told?
You were given a set of coordinates and told to bring a metal detector.
Okay, so I
So
don't know if my character would have put it together yet.
you could roll intelligence if you want. I'd allow that.
At least for what I am thinking
Yeah.
of.
So I think it's a pretty reasonable leap in logic to assume that if you need a metal detector to find it, that it's buried. So you probably assume it's buried somewhere. A forest would make sense based on the coordinates. So I mean, whether or not this guy's talking about that, you're not sure, but it does fit the description at least.
All right. I think I would give Hematite a call at this point.
All right. You're connected.
I'm
Hematite says
carrying a
otherwise.
crate. I'd probably have to set it down in the middle of the woods.
Probably, yeah. It's a pretty hefty sized, like suitcase sized
Mhm.
crate.
Hello?
Hey, so some events have happened. I'm here with the good doctor right now. He's currently tied up. I believe him to be infected with everything, and he did vomit on me, so I believe I'm infected as well at this point. But
You hear in the background of the call while High Tide is talking, please take me there, please. I can lead us there, please.
I would go into a room that's maybe a little further away so he might not fully hear the
He
conversation.
starts he increases his volume, but he doesn't have much strength in him, so he kind of starts to like cough when he gets louder. He's like, please, please. Just starts groaning into the floor. It's not a pretty sight, so yeah, you go to an even farther room.
So I apologize about the doctor's state of affairs right now, but did you happen to find anything in the green box? He's talking about stars, being with the stars, and they're asking him to find something.
Hold up. Give me a sec. I will check the book to see if it has any mention of star people, because I grabbed one of the book armor things.
All right. Yep. So
And
you do find that the tape does say, yeah, it's just called the Star People.
there's a tape here that's labeled star people. It was in the box with the hazmat suit. Like, just sitting on top. Obviously, I can't plug it in and play it. There's not an outlet in the middle of the woods.
I would say at this point, prioritize getting back with Hollow. He's currently at the police station right now. And maybe try to find a way to listen to that tape.
All right.
The good doctor here said it was something about a key, and I believe that's what you might be looking for. So we don't want to bring it here.
Question. If a tape is a key, playing it opens a lock?
You don't know.
No, that was yeah, that was in character.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the key to what's happening. Maybe it's
Because,
he's
like, we're supposed to put dangerous stuff we find in our missions in green boxes. This could be a relic from somebody else's mission.
yes, but it's something so dangerous that they are back here looking for it.
It's the worst that can happen.
And he
Visit from
said
star people, I guess.
something about he'll ascend and be taken away if he retrieves it. I don't know. He's rambling a lot of nonsense, but I don't think it should be brought here.
So I'll check with the police office and see if there's a way to figure out what's on the tape without playing it. But if there's no other way, we might just have to play it.
And I would say probably play it in someone's car where there aren't hundreds of people listening, like the police station.
We don't have outlets in cars, right?
Yeah, but don't they have battery powered stuff now? Or is it like a really old, is it like a real tape?
It is just a very old. It is a tape deck that plays like a compact cassette tape, but it plugs into a wall outlet to power it.
Ah,
And you could potentially pop the tape out and put it in a different player, but that's the player you've got in the green box.
well, I will leave it up to you and Hallow to figure out what the best course of action is. For now, I'm going to keep the doctor in his home and probably try to take a shower so maybe I don't get sick, but I don't know if that'll help.
And just for Joanna's sake, Hunter's in the hotel room with the doctor.
Yep.
All right. I will hang up, call Hollow and put my phone on speaker, and then pick up the box so I can walk and talk.
You said you called Hallow? Is that right?
Yes.
All right, well, you connect.
Hello?
Hello. Do you find the box? I'm getting the police station motivated.
Yes. So got a call from High Tide. He's compromised.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him right before that happened.
His patient's talking about star people, and in the box already on top of the suit is a tape deck with the label star people. High Tide wants me to play it somewhere private if we can't find a way to learn its contents without playing it. But unless you have a tape player, we'll need to plug this one into an outlet.
I mean, we can probably claim space at the police station.
Space without eyes or ears?
I mean, the interrogation room from last time will probably work.
Okay.
I'm also just
Yeah.
thinking out loud here, so apologize if you guys went over this already, but I mean, this is 2005. I feel like most cars would have like a tape player in them this year, but I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah,
for
cassette
sure.
player. They probably would.
Player. It's like
Okay.
that
I was
kind of
also
cassette.
thinking Radio Shack too.
That's a possibility too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to have a 2001 car that had a tape player in it, so I hope so by this point.
Yeah.
Okay,
I more meant
so-
like they weren't phased out yet at that point.
Yeah.
I could also play it in a car if you want to meet me in the parking lot and we can play it, assuming it doesn't fall apart when I try and take it out of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, either one works for me.
Yeah.
Probably best
concern
not to
is-
expose the station to it if we can.
High Tide's friend called the tape a key. So
Oh, that's concerning.
Mm-hmm. And since it's in a green box, it could be a relic from a previous mission.
Oh. You know, that makes a lot of sense. How was the green box? Did it seem like, you know,
It's a
People-
bunker. I'm loaded for bear now.
bunker? Okay.
Underground, middle of the woods.
Probably leftovers. Okay, yeah, so we can, if you want to wait to play the tape until you get back to the police station, we can listen to it in a car or something.
Okay. Or potentially to minimize risk, I could listen to it and jot down notes and hand them to you in case this is something that, like,
If it's something that bad and it's something that infects your mind, I might be able to help you with that if you're the only one who listens to it.
all right. Sorry, there were kids knocking at my window.
Fun.
I'm going to mute and deal
Yeah.
with it.
Treat.
We can end that scene and pop
Alright.
back to Hunter. You are in a hotel room with the rapidly worsening doctor there with you. He appears to be getting more pale by the hour as you wait here. And the hours are excruciatingly long as you sit and wait about the fate that potentially awaits you here. You mentioned earlier potentially contacting someone to try and get them to buy baking soda and bring it up to you. What's the plan for that? Who are you reaching out to?
Let's see, which of our people would I think would be closest to town at this point?
Definitely.
I'm still in
Hallow.
town. Yeah.
Okay, then I would use the room phone to call Hallow. I think I would have gotten everybody's numbers down on just like an actual pad of paper, since I am wisely wary of the spying capabilities of electronic devices.
Mhm. You work for the
So
NSA now, you would know.
Right, exactly. So I guess call you up.
I was just thinking to myself, wow, everyone's calling me today.
Yeah.
Picks up the phone.
Oh,
Hey, Hunter, how's it going?
could be going better. We have a little bit of a situation.
Okay.
I was able to talk to the doctor, and the good news is he was able to like keep his wits about him. I was asking him questions about like if we assume that we might be compromised by the bacteria or whatever, like what do we do? And he was able to give good information. I was really afraid he was just gonna go crazy and I'd have to knock him out again. But it seems like we sort of kind of got a thing we can try.
All right. Yeah, I'm all ears.
Yeah, we apparently need like a lot of baking soda. Like that's all we can eat for like long time. So I know this sounds crazy. I hope it doesn't sound like the kind of crazy that makes you think that like something else is up, because it's not. You can even have the doctor tell you if help your fears or whatever. But the baking soda apparently, I guess it'll like kill them or something if they're in our stomach and we eat it. Gotta tell you, it sounds like one of the worst things I can imagine. But if it keeps us alive, I think it's worth it.
Okay, yeah. We can probably. Hal's probably standing in the middle of the floor. He turns around to look at the sheriff or any one of the officers, and it's like, "Hey, can we get some baking soda over to the motel? Our doctor thinks he might have an idea
Baking
for at least
soda?
how to something about starving out the bacteria."
Some of the deputies are already laughing to each other, like, "What is he gonna ask?" But the sheriff calms them all down. How much baking soda? Weird.
How much
I
baking
trust your
soda?
doctor.
I don't know, but I think we're gonna need like a lot. Like we're gonna be eating it for. It's the only thing we're gonna be eating for like at least a week, probably longer.
Hal's eyes widen. He just turns around to the sheriff and kind of like gets him a look. He's like, enough to eat for a week.
Come again? I don't think I heard you right.
Enough to consume it regularly for a week.
And that's for two of us.
We can start out small.
You can. That's small. Okay. Fine. Listen, I won't ask questions on this. Your doctor knows more about this than I do. I'll trust the experts here. But, okay, whatever. Potter. Pottery. Hey, come here. Yep. Go and get just an entire cart full of baking soda. Just fill the entire. Yep. I know. Yep. Okay. It's whoever deputy he pulled over, he heads off and does that, and yeah, that's on its way.
Yeah. All right. Supplies are on their way, bud.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah. You guys doing good otherwise? I'd offer you food, but it sounds like you're not supposed to eat anything else.
I don't think we could have it. I think we're doing about as well as could be expected. Like,
can you guys
like
have,
I said, the
nutrients via IV or anything? What does the doctor say about that?
Hold on, let me ask. I'll reference say they're asking about if we can get nutrients through IV. Can we do that?
Well, that's probably a possibility. Yeah. We would need to be careful about what we eat, but potentially.
Sounds like the answer is yeah. As long as we don't like drink it, I guess, or something. I don't know.
All right. Well,
But we won't have any digestive fluids. They won't be as effective at processing food ingested orally.
we're not gonna have fluids in our stomachs, so yeah, I mean, I kind of, yeah, the IV is probably a good idea, so we don't die.
All right. Well, we'll have to. Hunter Hella turns back around to the sheriff. Can we get like an entire wing of the hospital, just set up and quarantined for this? Is that something you guys can call in?
Oh, I mean, if this truly is an emergency and an act of terror you're dealing with here, and there's something to, it's possible. That wouldn't be my jurisdiction. You'd have to go higher up your chain for that.
Okay, I will see about getting that set up. Turns back to the phone, talk to Hunter. Okay, I'm going to see about getting you guys some hospital space set up so you can be, properly quarantined and actually have access to things.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully
That sounds horrible.
Oh yeah,
Probably better than doing it in this hotel room, though.
definitely better than the hotel room. All right, I am going to call Grace if you don't need anything else. There's an officer on the way with a bunch of baking soda.
I think we're good. We'll send him out for other stuff if we need it, I guess. You take care. Bye.
Yeah, hang in there. And then Hallow dials Grace.
Agent status report.
All right, we have officially called this an act of bioterrorism. It's time to call in the cavalry.
Have you found sufficient evidence to classify it as so? We'll need to show them something to this up the chain.
We've got the bacteria samples that you have. We've got the video. We've got the video on its way to you at some point to identify the initial infection vector, and this is just really virulent stuff.
I understand.
What more evidence do you need?
Well, we need to be careful about what evidence we provide. If the evidence is unnatural in nature or depicts anything that's unnatural, we cannot afford it to be put on official record. If you need to fabricate something, we can fabricate something, or we can try to fabricate something for you, but we'll do our best.
Yeah. Well, we've got the sheriff's office here primed for bioterrorism, or what did we say? Biological warfare, or something like that.
Okay, so the locals believe the story then. That's good.
Yeah, the locals are buying it so far. We've got to be able to shift blame. Can we cook up some? He's sufficiently away from other prying ears at this point. Can we cook up something about the identity of that first person before we actually get results? Frankly, I don't think we're going to get a lot of real results about that person in the first place. We can easily blame that on them.
We received the DVD you sent over, and it's we'll need to do some more work on it. We're still tracking it down. These things take time, but hopefully within the next day or so, we'll know who was on that.
Great. Can you help us out with getting some hospital quarantine area set up so that we can get the good doctor access to the resources he needs and everything to get through this? He does also have an idea as to how to starve the bacteria, but it's going to be unfun for everybody involved.
Excellent. Well, I mean, living is probably better than not living or turning into whatever this is turning them into.
Yeah. And since our last report, High Tide is also probably infected.
Of course. Yes, contagious indeed.
We expect the initial, the Deputy Jacob that was the first one that died of this. We expect his pregnant wife is also infected at this point, if it's as contagious as we think it is.
His pregnant wife. You spoke with the coroner's assistant. You're dealing with the coroner. This man who's on the road. We need to track him down and find out who he was in contact with. I think that's our next. Thank you, agent. We'll get on it, and we'll be back with you as soon as we can with more information. As she hangs up, we will switch scenes to hematite. You are pulling that crate out of the woods now, but you're about to pass by that old lady's house, the old lady who was out tending her garden a few hours ago. It appears she has gone inside now. She's not immediately out in the garden, but you still may need to do something to just in case you want her looking out a window and you're carrying a crate from her backyard or something, right? Or you could go a long way around or something. But yeah, what are your
If there is a long way, if there's a public path to the woods or something that looks a little more abandoned, I think Hematite would try and take that.
I think you definitely could. It would add a pretty significant amount of time to your travel here because you're lugging this crate around. It's just hard to travel in general, and then looking for a public path. There isn't a public path nearby, so you'd be kind of searching for one. But I think you could find one, given you are near a state forest. You could eventually hook up with that. But then getting back to your car would take even more time, and
yeah, I think she's just gonna go for it.
Okay, just out. Are you trying to be sneaky with this, or are you just trying to be fast?
Trying to be fast and hopefully keep an eye on movement in windows nearby and time it for when there's nobody, no reflections in the windows.
Okay. So I think that counts as trying to be sneaky. I think looking for people looking for you is an active stealth. So you can roll that, but it's going to be at a minus. We'll say minus 20% because of the thing you're carrying. I would make it a 40%, but since there's no people actively out and about, you get a bonus to offset.
I cannot make that.
Okay. So roll me luck then. As you trudge out and are definitely making some noise, and it's just a heavy thing you're carrying. It's hard to be discreet.
All right. There's luck.
All right. So even though you weren't particularly stealthy one way or another, you were lucky. No one happened to look out their windows as you brought this crate back to your car, pop open the trunk, shove it inside.
Okay. I'm gonna roll just so I can click the thing and say I failed the skill check.
Yes. That's fair.
My stealth is 10.
Classic. So you've got the crate in the car. Are you going to try and were you meeting up with Hallow to play the tape? Or are you going to play it right here?
I was gonna go to the police office, deliver the suit, the hazmat suit.
All right.
And then that way Hallow has it in case any
Anything weird?
in case anything weird happens to me and I get compromised through the tape. And then yeah. I'm also planning to no, I can't do that. Tape players don't run while the car is off, correct?
You have to engage the batteries, so the first turn of the key, that first position, should power it.
I think that sounds about right to me.
Hematite was considering locking herself in the car, tossing the keys out the window, and rolling the windows up in case she goes crazy. But that doesn't play the tape.
Not in your current
Alright.
state with your car and the tape player, though. No, but
Still always the
Other
Radio
options.
Shack angle.
there's a Radio Shack angle. There's always a Radio Shack angle.
I don't think she's thinking that technologically.
Yeah, fair. Okay, so you go to drop off the crate at the police station.
Mhm.
You get there. Were you just dropping it off with Hallow specifically, or were you providing it to the sheriff's department for their use?
Well, somebody was going to check on the wife, correct?
Yeah, I believe they
Yeah.
already sent a deputy.
Yeah, with
Okay.
explicit instructions to make sure to not come in contact.
So then, yeah, I will provide it to Hello, who can distribute it as he sees fit.
Okay, so
All
you
right,
arrive.
thank you.
There you go.
You gonna listen to that tape out here? I can sit on the steps over there, and you can wave me over when you're done.
Yeah, and if I stop making sense, I'm gonna keep my car doors locked, grab the keys, and run away.
Okay, I will. I've got a last resort if that seems to be the case too. Maybe that'll pull you out. I hope I don't got to do it.
All right. So, yeah, go into the car, open up the tape player, and see what condition the tape is in.
Okay, it looks pristine. It's just been sitting here in this player inside a box underground. And the box is like dry and well sealed and stuff, so it doesn't appear any moisture got in to like slowly damage time. Looks fresh and clean, like factory new tape.
All right, I will
Just,
pop it in my tape player.
Right, I'll say it almost looks strangely new compared to everything around it. But yeah, so you pull it out, pop it into the tape player, engage the key.
Jot that in my notes as
Yep,
well.
of course. You can see on the tape it just has the same label, the Star People. A piece of white tape, like papery tape across it, and then written in like Sharpie on it. It's not like a fancy label. As if somebody was keeping something for their own records and it got maybe taken from them to put in the green box or something. That's just kind of the impression you get. But you pop it into the player. Oops, that was not good. Hear the crackle over the radio as the tape starts. It is just white noise for a few seconds here. You can hear some things almost shuffling around, maybe a chair being pulled closer to the microphone, somebody sitting on it. You hear some people talking in the background a little bit. And then eventually, you hear a few people talking, and somebody says, like, we're good, we're recording. And I will say I'm not going to attempt the accent of the person, but you have a pretty strong anthropology, right? You could give me a roll in that. So the accent and like his manner of speech and stuff, he is speaking in English, but he is clearly a Native American of a local tribe. We'll say the Cree. He's from the Cree tribe, and he is talking. He says like, yeah, we're live, we're recording. I can talk now. Whatever. And then people confirm that to him, and he goes into this description as if he's being instructed to talk about something. So he begins to explain how he would sing a Star People song, and he begins to arrange some plants you can hear being shuffled around. He describes the plants; they're all local species, and you can hear him instruct somebody to ignite a fire. So they light a campfire nearby, and he begins to sing this Star People song. It is in his own language, and he is just throwing these plants into the fire. You can hear the crackle and the pop of the fire in the background, and he'll occasionally stop in parts of the song to describe what he's throwing into the fire next, and then continue the song again. And it's just this long, slow, drawn-out song. It is this very heavy and an emotional song. Although I don't think you know that language. You do have some languages on your sheet, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you took like
Cree specifically
Cree
as a language.
specifically. So you don't understand the words themselves. You could potentially get them translated, but as you listen to it, something resonates, like you have heard this before or something. It is a familiar song to you. Go ahead and roll me a sanity check. All right. Take 1 point of sanity damage from the unnatural on a success. This man, this unidentified Cree man, continues describing the song, singing parts of it, and then he gets to the end, and he describes the final steps, the final plant that must be thrown onto the fire, and then instead of doing so, he simply completes the song without completing this ritual of sorts. He then describes to the people, you must do this somewhere up high, somewhere on the peak of a mountain. The mountain must be tall and bald. It must have lots of space so that the star people can come down to you. Ghost Mountain might be best, he says. Give me another anthropology roll. Ghost Mountain. Alright, with that success, you do know that some of the local Native American peoples used to call a local mountain Ghost Mountain, although the name has changed and it is now shown on all your maps and how the locals would know it as Owl's Head Mountain.
All right, got it.
The interview continues. They keep on asking questions about the Star People. They're trying to get information out of him now that he's done this ritual for them or performed all the elements of it, except for actually completing the ritual. But he seems almost casual about the whole thing. He says, like, the Star People are great people. They haven't been on Earth a long time like my people. Who knows what shape they'll take? People try to press him for descriptions, and he's like, they're indescribable. You can't describe them. They are the Star People. The Star People is their shape. And it just keeps on going on like that, refusing to give any more details. So all this interview really gets out of him is Star People and this ritual to contact them, and it must be someplace high up. Ghost Mountain, now known as Owl's Head Mountain, would probably be the best location in the area. Give me another sanity roll for listening to the whole tape at this point. No sanity loss this
I'm
time.
rolling lucky.
You are extremely lucky today. So, no sanity loss that time. You're fine. But you do know, I don't know if you had already written down on your sheet somewhere that you had learned a ritual to learn the other thing that you knew, the Elder Sign, I believe is what Hematite knows of.
Yeah.
I don't know where you wrote that down on your sheet, but you can add to that location or your notes or wherever you're keeping track of the fact that you have these things.
That's
call
I can
Star
add that
People.
to an additional thing I have on the note board.
Perfect. So you know another one of these inexplicable rich things. Like, though you don't understand the words, they've like wormed their way into your head a little bit, and also, once again, it seems like something you've heard before, something you've heard long ago, like uh, a lullaby that used to be sung to you as a child that you have forgotten because it's been so long, but it just comes back to you like an ancient memory like that. Because of that, you can recite it. You know it now. You know the ritual call star people. It's
All
just
right.
white noise.
I will pop it back in and call Grace. Well, actually, I will talk to Hollow, roll down my window, talk to Hollow, tell him what I learned, and say, I want to destroy the tape now that I think this is, like, let him know that, like, it resonated. I have it committed to memory. And say, I want to destroy the tape and see if that stops the virus folks from being so eager to get to it.
Absolutely. Let me go find something to burn it with.
We can smash it, cut it to ribbons.
Right, but I'd also like to burn the ribbon inside of it.
Okay. Should I call Grace and check in, or is this an executive decision?
This is
that-
definitely a destroy the unnatural. I think she would be completely on board with that.
Okay. Is Grace's number one that I can text?
You're also on blue.
Um.
You were assigned to blue.
Let's say sure. Why not?
Okay. So I will say, found an old relic in a bunker. It's uncomfortably relevant. Permission to destroy an artifact? Question mark.
I think after sending that text, you receive a call from Grace.
Okay.
Agent, what artifact are you speaking of? If it was stored
It's
in that green
tape.
box, it's something that may be important.
It's a old tape labeled Star People.
Did you listen to the tape, Agent?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's
the
the
problem.
infected are currently seeking out this tape as a key.
We do need to keep it safe then. I would recommend we hold on to it just in case. It may be important. We store things in some of these green boxes. I know things have changed a little bit since you were last active. I apologize. We store some things in these locations that tend to be more possibly useful in the future. We don't know if something of this nature might come up again later. We may need this information on the tape in the future, so it has been archived. I would prefer we hold on to it, but keep it safe. If you think that green box may be compromised, we should move it to another. If not, I suggest you return it to where you found it.
As best I understand it, High Tide communicated that persons far enough into the infection have a sense for where it is regardless. He was
Damn
the
it.
one who reached out to me to ask if I'd found something. I have the thing committed to memory. I wrote down the transcript outside of the ritual. I can provide you with a written record later. But I worry that if wherever we move this thing, all infected will attempt to converge on it.
Can you spare any of your agents temporarily? Can we hand courier this to someplace more safe, far away? Or is the situation there too dire?
The only completely uncompromised are me and Hello.
Those are not good numbers.
Correct. And there is a potential that infection could spread if the local police do not follow clear directions.
Very well. Destroy it. We have to triage. One problem at a time, get rid of this one.
Okay. I can. If you have good code breakers, I can encode it and make sure there's a written record in case anything happens to me. But make it such that the infected are highly unlikely to understand what to do to complete what they're looking for.
We do have fantastic code breakers, some of the best actually, but are you certain it can all be easily transcribed physically in such a way? Normally we only keep things in audio form like this if audio is part of the unnatural source.
So there is an audio and a physical component. I can encode the physical component in a mixture of languages and scripts and put the audio component in IPA.
Very well. As long as you're confident that they won't be able to crack it, this may be our best bet.
I'll split it up throughout the journal as well so it's in pieces and not a complete record, but leave a marker so that your team can create a complete record later.
Very well. Keep it safe. It may need to be delivered to a green box.
Of course.
Best of luck, Agent.
Thank you.
Click.
So that is what I'm going to do.
All right.
In my
You start
normal
this
paranoid
process.
state. Yeah,
Yes.
the herbal components of the ritual and the location stuff will be scattered throughout the notebook in the middle of gibberish with like a asterisk or some other character marker to signify where to start. And then the sounds will be written in various margins in the International Phonetic Alphabet.
I didn't think of this earlier, and I'm not going to change it now because we've already been doing it this whole time. But if we ever do the green again in the future, I probably should have had you make SIGINT rolls for all of these this whole time. But it's too late now. We're going to establish that you guys can just encode stuff, and the SIGINT's more about decoding stuff. But yes, so you can get to work on that. You already have a plan here. You already have a style you're encoding things in. You just shift your style a little bit to this new section that you're writing, and you write down these secrets. It's going to take you a while, I'll say, like a few hours to really encode this deeply into this journal. So we will fade out of that scene as Hematite gets to work on scribbling away, making this very encoded ritual.
I will let Hello know that we have permission to destroy the record.
All right.
Great. If you give it to me, I'll start just stomping on it.
You throw it down on the ground. You go to stomp on it, and for just the briefest half a second, you feel like you didn't feel a crunch. It didn't actually break. Like, how strong is this tape? But you lift your foot up, and it is clearly cracked and broken. And actually, strangely enough, bits of it appear to have like disappeared. You check the bottom of your shoe, nothing. You can almost see like parts of it like blowing away. Like it is, like parts of it are crumbling into a very, very fine sand, but at a kind of slow rate.
Hematite, we might have another problem.
Hematite's not paying attention. Hematite's like bent over her journal, scribbling madly.
Sandy check, hello.
Yeah.
All right. No sanity loss. You've seen Stranger Things.
All right. It's like, all right. Change of plans. I'm not going to destroy this quite yet. I'm going to put it in a plastic baggie and I'm going to burn it at first chance.
Right. So you assume you have like evidence bags or something close on hand. You're at a sheriff's station, so
Yeah.
just go grab one of those, scoop it up, make sure it's airtight, and then you have that. It does appear that you lost some of the material, as it was such a fine sand that it was kind of like just wafting away in the wind, but it was a very slow decay, whatever this was. So you just scoop up the rest, put it in the bag, and now that you can, like, you have it contained, you can actually see the very slow decay is like building up as like a powder in the bottom of the bag. But like it's so slow, it's probably gonna take, you know, hours. But you have it for now. And that's where we'll fade away from that scene. Back to Hunter. You hear a knock at the hotel door.
I saunter up to the door and I look at the people.
Outside, you see one of the deputies you saw at the sheriff's office previously. And he has just like multiple grocery bags in each arm. He's just standing there waiting. Back and forth. A little uneasy.
I'll open the door. Yeah. Hi. This
Hey,
is all the baking soda.
Yeah, I don't know what you need this for, but hey, here, I got real weird looks in the store buying all this.
Sorry about that. Trust me, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Shut door.
Very bewildered man and very awkward Hunter just socially glance off of each other and go their separate ways. And you close the door and you've got, yeah, these just boxes of baking soda.
All right, Doc, I got the stuff.
Great. Well,
Do we have to start now?
there's a process to this. There's a process. Hold on. I need to make a medicine check for him to administer it to you. It'll be. Are you going to be taking the treatment as well, Hunter? Do you think you are compromised?
Yes.
All right.
I
He'll
have
make
to
a roll
assume
for
that at this
himself.
point.
Fair. He'll make a roll for himself and a roll for you to administer this. His medicine is 80. Very good medicine. All right, the 39 and the 54. You're all good there. So yeah, I'll be honest here. I don't actually know the medical process that goes into this. I don't actually think you necessarily just eat it. I think it might be like sodium bicarbonate that he's gonna melt down and inject into your blood and that kind of stuff.
Oh gosh.
Either way, it's not going to be fun. I don't know how it works. I will admit that, but I do know it is a real treatment. Not that they would literally get baking soda, but yeah, sodium bicarbonate
Yep.
is like an extreme anti-poison thing that they might use occasionally. Whatever the process is, it is hell. So you go ahead and roll me 2d4, and I will for doctor as well. Okay. Just based on luck, it will take that many days of treatment to for you to be confident that it's working.
That could have been so much worse. I got very lucky there.
Indeed. And let me just double check the list of things
that also-
here.
Also seems to track, given Hunter's probably less infected than Doc.
Indeed. The dice do tell a good story here. You and the doctor both take 1 point of constitution damage. Your constitution score is reduced by 1 for this first day of treatment. Imagine that over the days of this treatment, it will continue to decline as your health suffers from this substance being put into your body. You do think proper treatment can recover this later, so record your permanent constitution somewhere. But for now, your constitution is going to be dropping. You're going to be significantly weaker over the course of this. Of course. So, you two are just not having a good time as you sit in this hospital room. I think we zoom in on like the digital clock on the bedside table, and it like ticks up a few hours, and then we snap back to like you leaning against the bathroom, like inside the bathroom door frame, and the doctor just like leaning up against the bathtub inside, occasionally vomiting into it. And you're both just covered in sweat and just drenched and panting. Doctor says, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this, Agent.
You got this, bud. We're both in this together. Don't you die on me.
I think we need to get to. This is not a good facility to be working in for this kind of stuff. We need a hospital, but we need a hospital that will understand
Doc,
this.
we're in a hospital.
You're
losing it, Doc.
Well, he's gonna roll a sanity test.
They're in a hotel room, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we still in the hotel, or did we go to the hospital?
The hospital has not been set up as a.
Oh no!
Yeah.
But I like this idea of Hunter either
Hunter's
being
sticking
convinced.
with it.
Yeah, either Hunter is convinced he's in a hospital room, or he's just trying to comfort the doctor by convincing him he's in a hospital room. Either way, it's funny. The doctor does fail his sanity roll and loses 1 sanity point to helplessness. Yeah, okay. I sure hope they know how to treat this. They're not like they're not in danger of us giving it to them, right? Or like the unnatural knowledge.
I'm sure they're taking precautions. They're professionals, Doc. Just like you. Well, probably not just like you, but how many days have we been here, Doc?
He counts on his fingers. It can't be just one, right? That doesn't make sense, right?
Feels like it's been a week, but surely it's not been that long. I'm sure we only got a couple days left, though. We're gonna be fine, Doc. We just gotta hold on, Doc.
He vomits into the tub. He's looking so pale now. His skin is like almost gray.
That's the sickness leaving the body, Doc. Just what Mother Nature ordered. Oh.
Yeah. And I think we'll fade out from that scene as you two are just suffering in this poor hotel bathroom. It's going to need a cover-up mission of its own later to deal with what is happening to that tub. High Tide. It has been a minute since we've heard from you. I apologize for that. You're in this man's home. You've called some people up to figure out what you're doing and what your plan is. But you have this guy tied up. What are you doing?
At this point, his head is wrapped up. He's tied up. Is he still rambling about the tape, even though it's been partially
I think if you
swished?
let him like struggle against his restraints and stuff for a while and babble at you, and you didn't like intervene, eventually he would just yap himself to sleep. Runs out of energy. He's in a very, very weak state at the moment, and eventually cannot avoid sleep any longer.
All right, I will just let him take a nap. And at this point, I'm gonna go outside, use a trash bag, and grab my shirt, bring it back in, throw it in the fireplace, and start a fire.
All right. As you You start the fire in the fireplace, but do you just kind of sit in here for a few hours then while the other agents are doing things?
I would definitely go take a shower and like try to
Okay.
get myself clean and make sure that any metal that is remaining I bag up and lock in a room somehow.
Awesome. So yeah, you start just taking care of all the metal things you can find around the house, and that takes you a while. Um, Go ahead and give me a search roll, actually. Nice. Okay, so you're pretty confident that you found all the little ingestible metal things. You know, there may still be sources of metal throughout the house that would be harder to ingest. Things like, you know,
Doorknobs.
doorknobs or like the radiators stationed throughout the house that somebody could, you know, conceivably just sit there and lick to absorb some of the metals. Things of that nature would be very slow and hard to consume, but you know, there are still metal things to be found. But you take care of all the little things that somebody could quickly just toss in their mouth, all the choking hazards, basically, and you just get those in a bag. You said, are you just throwing them out, basically?
Yeah, I don't know if he has a garage or something.
Yeah, we'll say he's got a garage.
Definitely would throw it in there and lock the door behind me and throw the key outside. Like into maybe some bushes or something so that in my bad state, if I get to it, I don't know where it is.
There's a moment where you're doing all this. Do you shower first or after?
Probably first.
There's a moment during all this. You've showered, you're clean. You're not in your shirt because you know your shirt is nasty and you basically just threw it away. But while you're walking around the house, and maybe it's that moment where you take the key and you just throw it outside. You catch a glimpse of something while you're throwing the key. The back of your forearm and like trailing up behind your elbow towards your shoulder. Some purple, some fungus.
Oh, is it Among Us?
Roll me a sanity check.
Oh no.
The fungus is among us, yes. So you're going to lose 1 point of sanity. Natural.
How long does it stay there? Does it go away pretty quickly?
You look back down at your arm and it's not there. Or was there?
Glad we kept this one connected.
Well, since it's gone, I'm gonna keep going about my business.
All right. So you're kind of shocked by that for a second. You kind of like jolt and it wakes you up a bit after you've been in this state of just walking around the house, combing for anything metal. Right. It's kind of put you in this like eerie state. Seeing that shocked you awake, and now your adrenaline's pumping. Um, Even though it's gone quickly, you know that spike of fear gets you on your feet again, and you start roaming around the house again, finding more metal things. And by the end of a few hours, you're very certain you found all the little odds and ends, unless somebody starts pulling nails out of things. Um, yeah. So you just sit in that place for a bit.
I mean, I would probably be anticipating staying here until I'm told that I'm safe to leave.
That's
At
fair.
this point, I haven't been told of any cures or anything, so
Yep.
I'm just kind of gonna lock myself in there and make sure I have no metal to eat.
All right. You've secured the location, locked yourself in, tied that guy up in his living room, and so you settle in to just take a seat by the fire or maybe somewhere else and just rest because you're going to need your energy again later, or your energy may deteriorate soon from the sickness, so you want to save it while you can. Start to smell something earthy, smell?
Fungus?
It does smell a little bit fungal, yeah.
Do I know where it's coming from?
You could look around for it.
I will attempt to do so. Because I assume all the windows are shut, so it's a little strange to me that I smell earth inside.
Yeah, like it's you smell the fire that you've set in the fireplace, right? But now this smell is starting to overpower that, which is strange. So you start looking around different places, and all of a sudden, one of the doors you're about to open, you like turn a corner, heading back towards the front of the house where you have that guy tied up, and the door leading into that hallway from the room with the fireplace in it, it's just covered in that purple fungus. Like it's just like a fuzzy mat of fungus covering the door and the wall around it, spreading to the floor a little bit. Slowly drifting like it's underwater seaweed or something. But it's... Give me another
Am
sanity.
I rolling? Yep, okay.
You saw it coming. Alright. One more point of sanity damage.
At this point, I would probably give Hollow a call.
Okay. You get a busy
Hello.
signal because everybody is called Hollow today, but eventually it comes through.
Gotta try a couple times before I get through.
Yeah. Helen picks up the phone and is like, I am so glad that I am still where I started today. Still at the police station. What's going on, High Tide?
In like a nonchalant, cheery voice, I would probably just start saying mold, 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 mold. And then that's it.
Oh no. Okay, step oh. That's weird. That's just it's the mold from the other time?
It's purple. It's moldy. I would assume it's the same thing. I've seen it on my arm. It's
You look up from you after you dialed your phone and you look up again and you're having this conversation. You go to like point at it even though Hallow's not there to see you pointing at the door. There's no mold on the door.
just like that, with the blink of an eye, it just disappears.
Okay, buddy. I'm gonna need you to take a few deep breaths. And maybe find some baking soda.
Is that gonna help? Is that gonna do anything? What's that gonna do?
Doc Collins seems to think that it'll help starve the bacteria.
I'd start waddling to the kitchen, and I would just look for some baking soda. And if I find it, grab a. There's no spoons in the house because I presumably got rid of all of them. So I would just open the box and take a nice swig from it.
Oh god. Not even knowing if that's the proper medical way to handle it or not. Give me a medicine check at minus 20%.
Is that first aid?
No, medicine is a separate skill. So if you don't have it, you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, that's why I just took a swig of it.
Okay, so you just take a swig of it. Oh god. You're gonna take the point of sanity, or not sanity damage. Actually, no, yeah, you are gonna take a point of sanity damage from this because yeah, and also 1 point of constitution damage, which again you might be able to recover later. But this is not good for your system, so you are swallowing a poison. It's not going to do immediate health point damage, but I mean, lowering your constitution might change your hit point total either way. Yeah, so it's absolutely fucking nasty. In fact, give me a POW roll to like will yourself to do this. Right? Yeah, you have enough willpower that you managed to choke some of it down, and it is probably the worst thing you've ever put in your mouth.
On the phone, I probably start coughing, and I'm like, "Are you sure that's what I'm supposed to do?"
I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to take it, but that's what the doc said.
I
The
don't know.
doc has a cell phone, right?
The hotel room at least has a phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can call him yourself, ask him about it, but I don't know.
I mean, at this
Uh,
point, I've locked
can
myself in the coroner's house, and I've presumably gotten rid of all the metal that I could find. So I don't know if I'm going to be eating any metal anytime soon. Hopefully, but I don't really know how to proceed. So
yeah, we kind of need our sterile environment for all of this, right? Oh shit, we still need to get a status on the Deputy Jacob's wife. I
I'm
don't
just
want to concentrate these people too much in one place, just in case of something bad happening, something worse happening, right? But I feel so bad leaving you out there. Um, can you? Do you think it's
I
a good idea for you to go and link up with Rowan and Doc Collins? Can you get Dr. Halsey over the hotel or something?
I mean, I did kind of slash the doctor's tires, so I don't know if his car is going anywhere anytime soon.
Shit. Oh. Hey, Sheriff.
Need sugar this time? Baking powder this time? Well, we can get flour over.
Maybe just a ride. For one of my compatriots and your coroner.
Oh,
Over the
we're
over
picking
the
them up.
phone, you hear, "You might also want some first aid."
Maybe also a first aid kit. Long story short, your coroner is super infected. He is very not himself. We still don't have a hospital set aside, sterile and secure, so I'm thinking we just get everybody in one location, maybe that hotel room where our doctor's also, an invalid. Do you think you could spare a police cruiser to just get them into the back of?
We can do that. Is
And then
contamination within the vehicle a concern?
I probably wouldn't touch the back seats until we can confirm a way to get rid of this contaminant.
Reminder, Hollow has a hazmat suit.
Yeah, and oh yeah, I also have a hazmat suit. If you're willing to lend me the cruiser, I can go pick them up in the hazmat suit.
Fine, sounds good. Pullman! He shouts for another deputy who has overheard the conversation and just grabs something off the desk and tosses over a set of keys, grabs the keys out of the air without looking, and hands them over to you.
Thank you. Keep you updated on your men's condition.
Appreciate it.
Have you gotten update from the deputy you went to check on, Deputy Jacob's wife?
I was actually just about to bring that up. We haven't heard from the deputy who went out that way. I was hoping you could send backup, check in on that situation. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll check on that after I pick up the guys. It's been hours. What? That's not good.
No, it's not good.
All right. Give me your card. I'll give you a call if we find anything relevant.
All right. Keys, and you head over. Let's see. For the sake of time here, are you going to be spending long at coroner's place, or are you just dropping things off? Or you're picking them up and bringing them to a hotel, right? Is that the...
Yes. Picking them up, bringing them to the hotel.
So, here's the funny thing. High Tide, you have some time while Hallow is driving over. Fungus on the door in front of you has disappeared.
Is it back on my arm?
Nope.
Well, I would just kind of hunker down with the corner on the ground, and is he breathing out of his mouth or his nose, right?
So he is not with you right now. He is behind the door that you didn't open because of.
Yeah.
All right. So you reach out, you open that door, and I need you to make me a sand.
Oh no, is he a little black blob on the ground?
1d4 points of sanity.
Oh, is that for me?
Yep. 2 points of sanity damage for you. You push open the door, and on the other side, you can see this man's feet kicked out into the hallway where you had left him, his hands tied up on the other side. He's no longer moving. He's no longer breathing. But you do see movement in the hallway, because it appears this man has released something from his system. Out of his mouth, out of his nose, some extremely nasty looking substance has emerged. It looks like maybe some blood, a whole bunch of just internal digestive stuff, maybe like some of the linings of his digestive organs, things like that. It's an extremely nasty mixture of stuff that's just forming a puddle that has just congealed out of his face. And rising up from it is this fungus, just slowly growing. The same fungus you've been seeing on things for 6-7 years now, actually. This strange thing you've seen, and only you've seen, in the presence of the unnatural. It is thriving here. It is growing rapidly. What are you going to do about it?
So is it the same blob that we found that jumped out of the reporter's head?
Good question. No, that was like a fleshy, silvery mass that was mostly like uniform in its like consistency and color and stuff. It really just looked like somebody made like a flesh goo, like a flesh monster. Like take a golem and a slime and combine them together, and that's what you get. This really just looks like every bodily function that could eject something here did so, and several that could only do so due to like extreme something unnatural happening inside his system. Like it looks like some of the flesh of his insides have come out with whatever has come out. It doesn't look like something crawled out of him. It just looks like this substance has left his body.
So there's no movement, it just looks like it's burst out of him?
Yeah. Looks like he essentially literally vomited his guts out.
Well, that's attractive.
That's why you took sanity damage for it.
This is... You said he's not breathing?
Nope.
How big is the fire pit?
You'd have to do some hacking and slashing to get a body to fit in there, if that's what you're considering.
Being
Pretty small fireplace.
Being adapted to violence, do I still take sanity damage for that?
I would say no. Being adapted to violence, you would not.
Well,
To violence and helplessness, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, so no, you are so detached from like the consequences of like You don't hold this idea in your head, this instinct of like, yeah, flesh should be all in the right places and shouldn't be cut open and stuff like. Those ideas just no longer apply to you. You just, flesh is flesh. It's just another physical thing.
Well, at this point, I am probably gonna snap a picture for proof and get to chopping and throwing them in the fireplace.
This is when Hallow arrives. So Hallow, you pull up the police cruiser through the front door. Would you knock, or are you just headed right in?
Yeah, he probably just tries the front door. And is that locked?
Yes.
Starts knocking the door. Hi, Tide, you here?
I would go and look through the little peephole.
Hi, Tide.
I would click the door open, like the lock, and peel it back a little bit. I assume I have a lot of fluids on my body, so I would try to only show my face and say, "Hey, how's it going?" But like a cheek, like a little forced smile.
Meanwhile, Hallow's in the hazmat suit, and he's like, yeah, what the hell's going on in there? What? You have something on you? Where's the doctor?
I don't want to cause any unnecessary mental harm to you, but some things have happened.
Okay, you want to elaborate?
You know how I said there was fungus?
Yeah?
It
What is it,
started
more?
exploding from all of his everything.
What?
So I'm currently in the process of burning. But he didn't fit in the fireplace.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I would like squint my eyes and be like, yeah.
God.
Do I need to roll persuasion check? Like, would he just believe me on that?
Maybe mention that he's dead before you put him in the fireplace, because it sounds like he was vomiting fungus, and you were like, "All right, time to
Yeah.
All
time
right,
to start
off with the
chopping
legs.
body parts."
Is he still alive? I mean, how? Let me see. I've never seen this fungus. How do we know that it's actually here, right? You're the only one who's ever seen it, like me in the bottle.
True, but he was not breathing.
Before or after you put him in the fireplace?
Before.
Shit.
There is no after. You're still in process of that.
I probably got like a couple legs off.
Hallow doesn't know
Oh,
that.
And Hallow, once the door's open, and now it's been open for a couple seconds, you just smell this awful smell inside. It's just, I mean, there is
Even
through the
human
hazmat suit?
flesh. There's human
Yeah,
flesh
even through-
roasting inside. It's like an instinctually nasty smell.
Smells like
you-
pork.
Were you wearing the hazmat suit? Sorry, I
Yeah, that's why I'm
didn't
doing
catch
the thing with my voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I'm
in the
sorry.
hazmat suit.
So you do not smell that then, because you're in the hazmat suit. Thank you.
Well, okay,
Hi, Doug.
you do. Yeah. She just kind of tries to push past him to see what's going on inside a little bit more.
Do you let him through high tide, or are you trying to keep him out?
I would try to keep him out a little bit, but if he uses a lot of force, I
Okay,
would
so you're
kind
not
of let
like
the door swing open.
you're not like actively resisting. Okay, so we don't need to look an opposed roll here or anything. So Hallow, you push open the door, and you see, for the first time, this fungus high tide has been describing, this purple wavy mass that seems to sort of dance on air currents that don't exist in the place you're sitting, like very slow movements as if they are underwater or in slow motion. Occasionally the fungus even flickers, like maybe it's not really there, like a visual glitch from something digital, not from something physical, and it's just there in the air, hovering off the ground by like a few centimeters over this mass of nastiness on the floor and the remains of the body that haven't been disposed of yet. And it's just growing currently. Slowly, but currently growing. Roll me a sanity check, please. Right.
My target.
You hit the target exactly. So you're gonna take 1 point of sanity damage.
And as
rolling a die.
as the door swings open, I would be like, "Am I not crazy? Can you see it too?"
Holy shit, I can see it.
I was a little worried that it was just like the thing that I was seeing, and it was just my mind playing tricks. But I'm glad it's not now.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go find a gas can. And Hallow goes outside to see if there's a gas can in the police cruiser, if there's one in the doctor's car, or even like failing that, he'll just find a way to siphon gas.
Okay. So the garage is locked up, and you don't find it in the police cruiser. So you can probably start siphoning gas. Just one of the neighbors nearby, in the middle of this.
The doctor's car is still here.
Yeah, it just
tires
has-
are slashed.
True.
He's
I
not
guess
gonna need it.
I guess I was picturing it in the garage, but it doesn't have to be. Either way, you start siphoning gas one way or another in the middle of this this
While wearing a
Wednesday.
hazmat suit.
Yes, in this Wednesday in spring, and while wearing a hazmat suit, of course. Give me a luck roll. Let's just see if anyone drives by. But you do
Where's
start
luck?
siphoning gas either way.
That's
And
just,
I-
there.
At
Oh
this
boy.
point, at this point, I would close the door and go back to what I was doing, so that no one sees.
Inside.
We'll say with a critical success on your luck check, you actually like check the nearby cars and you like pull the hose off of the doctor's house and stuff like that to start getting ready to siphon, and then you realize that like the truck you're about to pull the gas lid off of and all that stuff, just sitting in the back of the truck, there's just a full what do you call it? The
Oh, jerry
there's a
can.
word. Jerry can. Thank you. The full jerry can of gas just sitting there.
All right, he seizes it and runs into the front door and starts dumping it on the fungus.
All right.
Well,
High tide.
wait.
Yeah.
Nope, we're burning this shit down right now. I'm not risking shit.
Wait. Do we really want to try to explain another building burning down because of us? It hasn't gone down well in the past.
Well, where do we burn him then? Out
A
fucking front?
fireplace, like I'm doing. You can pour as much gas in there and light it as you want, but I want to get him off of the floor and at least dispose of it in a way that is built for it.
All right, fine, but I'm not touching that.
Okay, that's fine. As I'm like mid-swing.
Mid dismemberment. Probably working on a thigh right now.
We will
Well,
end.
fine. Yeah.
We will end the night on that note, but I need one more roll from High Tide. Can you give me a luck roll at minus 40%?
Oh no.
All right. Noted.
Oh,
Ominously.
one of those.
Mhm. And that's where we will end for tonight. Thank you all for joining me.
Is that me getting
Yeah.
infected?
Thank you for running.
Probably.